And we're live. No, I'm playing. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Malik. I look rough, y'all. It's been not only a long day, but a long 2 weeks. But I'll get into that in a minute. But I'm again. It's your boy Malik. Um, so here I am, finally. So a couple weeks ago, sometime in June. I posted a question to both my Instagram and Facebook stories, and I just simply asked, if people wanted me to, make some content of my experience here again at Fort Lee, not as a initial entry trainee or a IET, but this time as a MOS-T. Please do not ask me what MOS stands for. I know that the T stands for transfer, but it's the military, and there's an acronym for almost everything. Anyway, so when I posted the question, I went to bed that night, not thinking anything of it. I woke up the next morning, and surprisingly, I had a lot of responses. And the responses I got, they were from a variety of people. Most of the responses rather I got were from people that I previously went to AIT with over 5 years ago, and we're still cool to this day. And I got responses from people that I served with in the Falls, where I was previously stationed. And then I had a couple of responses from people that I'm stationed with in my current unit. And by the way, I'm stationed in Germany. I'm a reservist still. I just go over to Germany once a month for my drills. That's all. But nevertheless, so a lot of people told me that I should go ahead and make the content. And some of the reasons why, blew my mind. On one hand, people were like, you're a preacher, you're good at talking, and you have the personality to make content. Now, one of those things are true. I am a preacher, so I public speak a lot. So being in front of a camera or even people, I'm no stranger to that. But the personality part, I'm chill, I'm laid back, I love talking to people, making people laugh. But maybe I'm comparing myself to other content creators and other streamers, but I don't think I have the personality to make content on that level. But nevertheless, I'm still going to make the content, because I did post a couple days later that I would vlog or share or create content based on my experience here at Fort Lee again, this time as a prior service MOS-T. And then I'll get into why I reclassed and changed my MOS in another video. And that video will probably come out sometime this week. I'm thinking Friday or Saturday. But I do have to add this, because there are people who comment on every status I make or on my stories on both Facebook and IG, and they always ask, well, where your blog at, bruh? I strive to be a man of integrity, so I will be honest here. So this is a 4-week course. It's a condensed course. For regular AIT students, this is a 10-week course. But since there's 28 people in my class, I think, and we're all prior service, and most of us are about to mobilize somewhere soon. So this is a condensed 4-week course. So I have made content, but the first video I made It was, I think, when we went to Busch Gardens. And then the second video second video I made was after we did, I think it was our first test. And then, you know, I had recorded the videos on my iPad. I'm on my phone right now. And then when I went to upload the videos to my YouTube, I, you know, went into my iPad and excuse me, and all of my videos were gone and all of my pictures were gone and my apps were gone, which is strange because it was like I hadn't used my iPad but 2 times, and that was to record the videos because they told us that Wi-Fi will be provided. But you know, when I got here, I found out that the Wi-Fi package was $40. The devil is a lie. I don't even pay that much back home in Buffalo. But anywho, I am going to, you know, upload, I think like 3 or 4 videos this week. I am limited as to what I can, you know, show you, because again, I am still on an army base, and the government, you know, they kind of have limits on, you know, what we can and cannot show the people, because again, there's some buildings that you know we go into, and because of our clearances, we can't have our cell phones, mine for example, and then we can't, you know, record in the classroom because again, we're around sensitive information. But there are, you know, certain places around base that, you know, I will show you, and then I'll probably have a couple of my classmates come on with me, and then, you know, they'll share their experience, you know, and why they reclassed and why they joined the military, etc., etc. This one, you know, was just me coming on saying that, you know, I did see the comments, and then, you know, I do hear, you know, well, not even here. I see the, you know, comments of the comments rather of people asking me, you know, where's your content? Well, here's a good start. You know, again, I do want to apologize for the delay. You know, I had a, you know, as my instructor said, a user error on my iPad. And then on top of that, you know, since again this is a condensed course, you know, we had what three exams last week, and then I actually have one tomorrow. So you know, I've been studying. I've been trying to get rest, because you know, it is hot down here. It's in Virginia, and you know, I'm from Buffalo, New York, so I'm not used to this kind of heat. And then, you know, I had, you know, saw online earlier that it's in the mid 90s in Buffalo, and today's what, July 14th, and it rarely gets that hot in Buffalo. So, you know, I thought down here was bad, but nah, I guess, you know, people in Buffalo have it worse. But you know, again, you know, this is the, you know, start of me posting my content. So, you know, be on the lookout. I shared my YouTube link in my bio, and then, you know, I'm going to post the videos on my YouTube. Then I'm going to post the videos on my Instagram, and then I'm thinking about posting them on Facebook as well. All right, y'all, I'll talk to you soon. All right.